In this video, I'd like to tell you about my own educational background and how I ended up as a clinical psychologist. I went to Brown University and received my Bachelor of Science degree with a major in psychology. During my junior and senior years, I worked as a volunteer research assistant about 6 hours per week in a psychology research lab. Although this work experience was valuable, it wasn't enough experience to make me competitive to get accepted into clinical psychology doctoral programs. I knew I wanted to get my PhD in clinical psychology because it would open the most doors for a future career. I could become a therapist, I could do research, or I could teach at a university. During my senior year, I applied to about 15 different clinical psychology PhD programs. Unfortunately, I got rejected from every single one. At the time, I didn't realize how competitive these programs were, and I didn't realize how much research experience was required prior to getting accepted. Another problem was that I wasn't applying to the right schools, ones that were a good fit for me. If you want to apply to psychology PhD programs, one of the most important things to focus on is which advisor or professor you'd like to work with, based on what kind of research that professor is currently doing. Focusing on the details of the training program itself is essential for figuring out if it'll be the right fit for you. You'll want to pay close attention to what courses you'll take, what types of clients you'll work with, and in what type of setting, and what kind of supervision you'll receive. Your main advisor will influence what kind of research you complete for your final project, called a dissertation, which could have important implications for your future career. When I didn't get any offers from PhD programs, I took a year off of school and worked as a full-time research assistant for a different lab, working with patients that suffered from treatment refractory major depressive disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. This was an incredible year of work experience because I received valuable training in research, spending approximately 40 to 45 hours per week working on research-related tasks. I learned how to interview patients and how to administer complex psychological tests. I attended continuing education lectures. I worked on institutional review board proposals, and I managed most of the research data and helped write manuscripts to submit for journal publication. The second time I applied to clinical psychology PhD programs, I approached the application process in a much different way. To start, I used a very helpful resource, a book called The Insider's Guide to Graduate Programs in Clinical and Counseling Psychology. This book has detailed instructions for how to choose the right graduate program, how to best prepare for applying to graduate programs, and how to master the interview process. The book has a summary of all the current doctoral programs in clinical and counseling psychology in the United States, along with essential information about each program, such as how much the program focuses on research or clinical training, the theoretical orientations of the professors, and the type of research being done within each program. The book includes other statistics such as average GPA and GRE scores for incoming students. It shows the previous year's acceptance rates for each program, how many students applied, and how many students were accepted. With this book, I could choose the best programs that seemed to be a good fit for me personally. The second time I applied to clinical psychology PhD programs, I sent my application to about 12 different programs and I got 3 offers. I accepted an offer from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. After receiving my PhD, I went on to complete a 1.5-year postdoc that allowed me to get licensed as a clinical psychologist in the state of Tennessee. Once I was done with my education, I had grown to love therapy, assessment, and teaching, so I decided to pursue these 3 things as a career. I became a full-time lecturer at the University of Tennessee, and I started my own private practice, working primarily with children and adolescents. I have continued to work in these two jobs for the past 9 years, and I absolutely love the work I do. Based on my own experience, my advice is to let your ultimate career goal determine whether a master's degree or a doctoral degree is best for you. If you're interested in specializing in a particular area, you can look for graduate programs that will match your interests. Once you've decided to pursue a master's degree or a doctoral degree, you should start seeking out the right kinds of professional experiences that will make you a desirable candidate. Before you finish your undergraduate degree, you may want to take certain classes, take the graduate record exam, and obtain research and clinical experience. If you plan on pursuing a doctoral degree, make sure you spend a lot of time looking at each program and apply to programs that seem to be a good fit for you personally. Realize that some programs are extremely competitive, and you should be realistic in your goals when you're picking the programs you want to apply to. For example, some schools have minimum GPA and GRE requirements, and they desire applicants with several years of full-time research experience. Don't feel pressured to go straight into graduate school, since it often works to your advantage to take some time off and get more professional experience. Try to get as much research experience as possible. And remember, if you don't get accepted initially, don't give up. It may mean you need more experience and there's a better program you can apply to the following year.